great expectations as Arsenal and Manchester United provided a glittering start to the league season at Old Trafford.
Webb. Neil Webb with a classic volley to embroider his first league game for Manchester United.
A dream start that quickly turned into a nightmare for United and Neil Webb. United lost their inaugural shine. Webb was soon to be involved in a long and painful battle against injury. Arsenal had quickly recovered from their opening day mauling, and newly promoted Chelsea were amongst the leading pack as well, along with Merseyside's formidable double act.
McMahon. Elton. Look at this break by Barnes now. The flag stays down, and the ball is in the net by John Barnes. A brilliant goal for Liverpool.
By early November, Aston Villa were in on the act, having narrowly missed out on relegation 6 months earlier. Everton were poised to regain the lead when the two of them met at Villa Park.
Over in a moment. Here's Cowans, free. He's got Platt up alongside him. It's a goal! A great start for Aston Villa. Cowans then with one of those tantalising free kicks. Platt there first. A brilliant goal by David Platt. An astonishing performance by Aston Villa. An amazing start with 3 goals.
By the end of November, Arsenal were beginning to look the part. Inevitably, Liverpool within striking distance. And strike they did. For the big rematch at Anfield, Barnes was outfoxed by Lukic. But then he stalked his prey time and time again before moving in for the kill.
Conversation now, who's going to take it? Well, that's something Arsenal don't know. And Lukic would like to know. It's going to be Barnes.
Curled brilliantly! What a fabulous free kick goal! What a glorious moment of pure football skill from John Barnes.
The last match of the 80s saw two of the leading contenders in a furious head-to-head. Aston Villa, who'd been looking invincible at home. Arsenal, who've been looking vulnerable away.
Villa break free from the shackles to have a corner. Daly, maybe Villa will score from it. Derek Mountfield, they have! Arsenal in a line, look at the linesman. Lukic in disbelief.
Not for the first time, Arsenal in vehement protest at what they considered to be a miscarriage of justice. In many respects, it was good riddance to the 80s. The new decade brought with it a new wave of optimism, even for a couple of old stagers who'd seen it all before. It was a good start as well.
Meantime, here's Peter Beardsley. Checked his man beautifully.
Rush waiting in the middle. That's the goal for Liverpool. Ian Rush, the scorer.
Beaten by Barnes.
Finds Beardsley. There could be problems here for Forest. Barnes again. Crossed in again towards Rush. A brilliant goal.
Jensen flicking it back for Parker. There's Crosby on this flank again. Just in there towards Hodge, who's in there.
And it's in there. Stevie Hodge for Nottingham Forest.
Quite right, he has made the difference, Hodge, in this second half. Jensen backing away.
He's given a penalty. Up against Grobbelaar.
Liverpool started the 90s in the same position they'd occupied 10 years earlier, setting the pace and the standards. Elsewhere, it certainly wasn't the same old story. Early in the new year, Aston Villa and Southampton provided one of the First Division's showpiece affairs. And once again, Villa were the stars of the show. Location, Anfield, a family affair. the intense yet friendly rivalry of the Merseyside derby. But here, it was very much the same old story.
Turned to him well by Nicol. Oh, Watson can't get there. Barnes does. Liverpool have scored. And Liverpool here can tighten their grip. Now, Beardsley scored a penalty against Norwich by blasting the ball to the goalkeeper's left. Oh, it goes straight down the middle as Southall went out of the way. 2-0.
At White Hart Lane, Aston Villa assumed pole position for the first time since their championship year of 1981. It was their 7th successive league win. Nothing to suggest they were running out of steam, but they were soon in trouble. Wimbledon, those perennial party poopers, winning so convincingly at Villa Park, there were serious reservations expressed about Villa's powers of recovery. Their trip to Coventry did nothing to silence the sceptics.
Well, here's Coventry now with Gallagher playing it in. Ormonroyd missed the chance there. And it's there by Drinkle. His first touch as a substitute. And Coventry go into the lead. And now here's David Smith. That's really got Coventry going. There's the shot. It's another one. David Smith, 2 goals in 90 seconds, and Villa are in deep trouble.
Arsenal had been totally out of sorts, without a goal for 5.5 games. They had to beat Forest, the Littlewoods Cup finalists, to keep their season
Richardson with
alive.
the kick. Bold on the near post, often the target, and Adams running in on the edge of the penalty area. Smith was there as well. Oh! They all stood and waited, and Groves was the quickest to react, and Arsenal's goal famine is over. Adams! Into Smith, flicked on towards Campbell. Yes! The smile of a very satisfied young man.
Graham Taylor felt Villa's challenge needed fresh impetus. Tony Cascarino cost a bundle. Villa's front players immediately under threat. Ian Ormonroyd was the first to respond.
Oh, that's a fine ball by Nielsen. Just the sort that Daly thrives on. Ormonroyd's in the middle! Aston Villa have fashioned a direct attack that's left Peter Shilton sitting and reflecting.
The championship looked to be developing into a head-to-head. At Old Trafford, Liverpool looked to be head and shoulders above the rest.
Finding Beardsley away on the left in a lot of space is Barnes, and he's onside. United are being caught out here. Will they be punished? They are by John Barnes. 1-0. Oh, that's a good ball played to Russell Beardsmore. A few red shirts are up, including McClare. Oh, a fabulous save by Grovelar.
Villa by 3 points, Liverpool with a bit to spare. 20 games without defeat, seemingly invincible. The outcome inevitable. Until the emergence of Tottenham sub on a Wednesday night at White Hart Lane. Torpedoes at the ready. Fire one.
Here's Gascoigne. Stewart. Paul Stewart for Tottenham. 1-0.
That gave Villa's young Eagles the chance to swoop. But all of a sudden, the hunters had become the hunted.
City determined to get something out of this one in their battle against relegation, and here's David White onto the right foot against the post. Peter Reid.
Unlike previous championship campaigns, Anfield hasn't been its usual intimidating self. Liverpool have been at their most destructive away from home. Sensitive to criticism, stung by the lack of respect shown by Crystal Palace, Liverpool responded typically. Ronnie Rosenthal had arrived. Penny for your thoughts? What price? Ronnie now. Aston Villa's trip to Highbury was seen as a springboard for all they hoped to achieve. Chris Price proved to be their unlikely hero.
Only Cascarino up in a claret and blue shirt, though. He's getting a bit of support from Platt. Now, this could be interesting. Platt has pulled away. Price has gone through for Villa. A great chance for Villa. Chris Price.
Amidst Nottingham Forest's spring of discontent was a visit to Anfield. Ronnie Rosenthal continuing where he left off at Charlton. But Anfield isn't the fortress of invincibility it once was, and Forest aren't really pansies. Nigel Jemson making the point and taking two. Villa were also doing it the hard way. The fancy stuff had been and gone.
He's onside, and Erland Johnsen made up some ground but didn't have the strength really. Tony Cascarino beaten away by Besant, followed in by Gordon Cowans, and Aston Villa have scored.
They were sunk at Old Trafford by a sharpshooter who earned himself the nickname Rummenigge at Lillishaw's School of Excellence. Mark Robbins with a flair for the unorthodox. Avoiding defeat at Highbury swung it Liverpool's way even more emphatically.
And Barnes now. Shot charged down. Rosenthal trying to get once more to that byline. Gets there. Nicol crossed in once more. Barnes. It's there. John Barnes.
Villa with fewer points and fewer games to play. They made heavy weather of Millwall, nothing pretty, but nothing down for them had they lost. The Manager of the Month award for Kenny Dalglish, a prelude to even greater things. By now, Liverpool could only lose it, and that doesn't happen very often. Stranger things and all that, most recently last season. But against Chelsea, they were right back on song. Easy does it. The stuff that champions are made of. We're right up to date. Queen's Park Rangers, always difficult to beat, especially when they're ahead. But the breaks went Liverpool's way, at home and away.
But here goes the newly crowned Footballer of the Year, John Barnes. 2-1. That might mean the championship.
It would have gone to an extra match at least had Villa beaten Norwich, but the goal that actually clinched it for Liverpool was scored by Robert Rosario. But that's a mere technicality. Celebration time at Anfield for a record-breaking 18th time.